thanks so much for coming on the show today then, Heather. Could you just tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Sure, thanks for having me. So I'm a brow artist. Started off as a makeup artist, but I opened up my brow bar in September 2018. So initially when I started out, it was makeup that I wanted to do, and I decided that I would do brows as well, so that I had basically a job to do during the week, just because makeup is mainly popular at the weekends. So I would have been demented if I never had work during the week. So I did that probably as an add-on treatment, and it ended up just being what I was really good at and what I really loved doing. So it just kind of flowed that way. I started out probably with my interest in beauty when I was at uni. So I actually have a business degree. I studied at Strathclyde, and after my first year I decided I was just going to go and do a makeup course because I really loved it, but I probably just never had the confidence to do it before. So I had so much fun doing that on the side while I was at uni and just building up something, building up a clientele. And then I graduated in 2016, and after that I decided to work in a salon. So it was good to be with like a bunch of like really talented makeup artists and just actually have a team, because before that I was just basically working in my bedroom and it was quite lonely. So that was really good. But after a while I just ended up phasing makeup out because my brow clientele grew and grew. So it just became like brows were my thing, and I thought I really want to open up a brow bar because makeup really took off in Glasgow and it was so popular, but there wasn't really like a go-to place for your brows. Well, there was brow salons, but I just felt for me there wasn't anything that really stood out, and I just wanted to be part of that. And I think now I see brow salons opening up all the time and it's just so popular.
Yeah, Oh, that's good. So did you not always think you would be in beauty as such then, like your brows now?
Well, I think that I always wanted to be part of beauty. So I always wanted to be in the beauty industry, but it just never really kind of worked out. I don't really know why, but I remember years ago going to a college interview for beauty therapy, and I got to the interview and then I just walked away.
Really?
I don't know why. I just think it wasn't the right time. I wasn't ready to do it yet.
Yeah.
And I actually worked as a dental nurse at the time, and I absolutely hated it. And every day I went into work I used to think, oh, I wish I could do something else. And I think that, I don't know, I kind of like fell away from the idea, and I went to uni with the intention of going into HR full time.
Right.
Which I studied it in my first year, and then when it came to like when you go into third year you have to specialise in something, and I was specialising in HR, and I did it for 2 weeks, and I went to the course coordinator and I was like, please, 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 I can't do this, I hate it. And they were like, all right, well, you could change to something else. And I was like, I want to change to enterprise.
Right.
My whole degree was then centred around entrepreneurship, and I absolutely loved that.
Oh, that's
It was
cool.
really, really good.
That's really good. That would have been really interesting. So
It
is
was
that
so
where,
interesting.
yeah, is that where your business kind of side of things came then?
Yeah, I think when I did the enterprise course when I was in first year, it was so much fun. It was just like a kind of side of life that I'd never been exposed to before. So I didn't really know anyone that had started their own business before I did that course. So when I did that, I kind of got to work with startups. I got to like work with other businesses. I got to hear other people's success stories, and I was like, this is amazing. This is so exciting. And I think it's just like a whole other world. So I just think if I had never done that class, I don't know if I would have actually ended up where I am today.
That's crazy, isn't it? That's so good though that you ended up doing that and you hated HR to go.
Oh, I hated it. I liked it in the first year. I liked learning about why people behave the way they do and the whole psychology behind it. But see, when we started going down the legal route, I was like, this is too much.
Yeah.
Didn't like it.
I can imagine. So you have a salon now. So do you still do treatments in your salon, and then do you have a team as well?
Yes. So I work full time as a brow artist as well as managing the business. So it's pretty intense. It's all go all the time, but it's just what I'm used to.
Yeah.
And even going back to like when I was at uni, I still had a job when I was at uni, and I did makeup at the weekends. So I've always been used to having a really busy schedule, and I think I enjoy that part of it, even if it is a bit stressful at times. But I have a team with me as well. So when I opened the shop, it was literally just me. So I had to kind of find people, and what I did was I just recruited one at a time.
Mm-hmm.
But what we have now, it's myself and there are three other brow artists with me, which is really good. They're all really amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also have a makeup team as well. So yeah, it's really good. And also we have another lash artist as well. So
Brilliant. And the salon looks beautiful. I've actually been looking on your Instagram. It's so nice.
thank you, thank you.
So little tips then. Do you have any tips for hiring the right people and managing a team? Do you think?
Well, I think that's something that like you have to learn as you go.
Mm-hmm.
So what I kind of did learn is that I studied management and everything at uni, and on paper it looks like it will be really straightforward, but actually in reality it's not. So one thing that I have learned is that if you kind of break things down and like just try not to take on too much. So, and I also think that you can't really rush into something, and you have to really go with your gut.
Yeah.
So I think usually I know when I'm interviewing someone if I get a good vibe or not.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just like in the beginning, you don't really know what you're doing, to be quite honest. See, unless you come from a managerial background, you don't really know what's right or what's wrong, and you try to give people a chance, and then you're kind of like, it's hard because you try to think of your business, but also your personal side comes into it a wee bit. So it's just trying to figure out like who's the right fit for your team.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think if you just generally in beauty as well, it comes down to not only like your personality and your skills, but also how you fit with the rest of the team and how you all complement each other.
Yeah.
So I think just one at a time and take it as it comes, and that's all you can really do.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. So, for anyone that's maybe just working themselves at the moment, what would your advice be to branch out? Like if they wanted to branch out?
Well, I think one thing that I always look back at is when I was doing brows full time before. I felt like that was just my whole life was just brows, and now I've got the business and brows, so it's quite a lot to take on. And I do hear about people saying that they should take a step back from their trade if they want to manage their business, and I think realistically if you want to grow, that is something that you have to do. So I think it's important to know what you really want. Do you want a beauty business, or do you want to continue your trade?
Yeah.
And I think to a certain point you can do both, but it just depends what your long-term goal is. But it's nice to have a team around you, it really is.
Yeah, I know. I think that's the common thing. I think that people do say, especially with doing, these podcasts now. You do hear everybody's always like, you kind of need to step back to like let the business grow. But that's sometimes scary when you're the one that's been doing the trade the whole time and you've built it up, isn't it?
100%. And I think that's probably the point in my business at now, is that if I want to continue to really grow, I'm going to need to take a step back. But right now, I'm like 5 days a week, full time doing brows. I just don't know. It's hard. I keep saying that, oh, I'll cut a day, so I can focus on other things. But I think this lockdown has really made me reflect on things and figure out what I need to do to move like to the next level.
Yeah, I think that's done a lot for everybody. I think the lockdown's been so good for that, like giving you time.
It's good for reflection and time. I mean, especially if you are like really, really busy and you're literally waking up first thing in the morning, going to work all day, coming home, making your dinner and going to your bed at night. Like, where's the room to create, really? Like, I get a lot of my ideas during the night.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can't sleep. I'll sit up and I'll think about like what I want to do next or wee ideas, and I try and write the ideas down because by the morning I'll have forgotten because I'll be tired.
Mm-hmm.
But it is good to have time to figure out like what's working, what's not working, what you're going to do next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So do you think social media is an important part of business today? I know you're quite good on social media.
Absolutely, and especially like in the beauty industry. I think social media plays such a big role in all beauty businesses, but it's really helped me grow.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been the kind of main marketing tool that I've used since I started out. And I think when I was starting out, it was just getting really popular. YouTube was taking off, stuff like that. So it was really a learning tool for me as well.
Yeah.
I do think it is important.
Yeah, definitely. So do you also believe in a positive mindset? Is that something you practice, and do you believe it helps with success?
I do think it's important to be positive, but I know that it's not easy, especially in times like this or if things go wrong. Like, it's okay to feel a bit down about it, but at the same time you have to think about what have you achieved so far. So if I'm ever having a bad day, which everyone does, I tend to write down things that I'm proud of that I've done,
Mm-hmm.
things that I have achieved, instead of focusing on what I haven't achieved yet, because there's still time to do that. So
Yeah.
I think sometimes actually if you write down what you have achieved, say in the last like 2 years, it can be a lot more than what you think when you just write it down on paper, because when you're living it, you don't really think of that every day.
Yeah, I like that. That's quite good. That is good.
Thanks.
So basically touching on that actually, do you like to set yourself goals to achieve within your career, like be it competitions, awards and things?
I always set myself goals, and also for my team as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's really important. I write down my short-term goals and then I write down long-term goals. And what I try and do is set myself something. I mean, I think realistic goal setting is good,
Mm-hmm.
but I also think it's good to like throw in a wee wild card, something that's kind of out of reach that you think that you can't really do.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, sometimes you maybe don't get to it as quick as you want, but like if you're really determined and you want something, you will get it.
Yeah.
So I sometimes will say I'm going to do this, and then people will laugh about it, but like then when it becomes real, it's like, oh, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So it is good to add in something that you think that you maybe can't do, just to like prove a wee point to yourself.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. So where do you see yourself in 10 years' time then?
Well, I think 10 years time, I would still love to have my business and for it to have grown a lot since. I'm actually working on something just now that I see myself doing in 10 years' time, but I can't say much about it yet because it's still very much under wraps, very much in the early stages. But I'm hoping by next year it will be something that I can start talking about publicly, and share ideas with people. But really, what I want to do is make a difference in the brow industry.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it's so important because, generally speaking, beauty wise, you years ago you went to a beauty salon and you got your brows done along with other treatments. You didn't just go somewhere for brows. Nowadays that's all changing, and there are salons that you go that specialise in brows. There's people that are really, really amazing at it, and they're just doing so well. I think in Glasgow it's something that is going to really take off.
Yeah.
You can already see that it's happening, but I think I really like connecting with my clientele and finding out what they struggle with brow wise and trying to like really make a difference. So basically we specialise in corrective work.
Right.
So we'll get people that come in and they're really unhappy with the shape of their brow, and we'll work on them, and it can take a year, it can take 2 years, but in the end up we give them a set of really amazing brows that they don't really have to do much to, and that's the best feeling ever. So I hope that I'm still doing that in 10 years time, but I hope that I manage to innovate something else as well. Like look at brow lamination, for example, that just came out of nowhere, and it is totally changing things up.
It went quite big, quite fast as well, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. And I think there's more of that to be done. So if I can be involved in something like that in the next 10 years, I'll be doing well.
Yeah. Would you ever be interested in doing things like your own product line or stuff like that? Would you go that way, or?
I mean, I wouldn't rule it out.
No.
I think it is something, you know, if you're really passionate about something and you've got a good idea, then it's just go for it.
Good. So last two questions then to end on the show. What's the best and most worthwhile investment you've made?
Well, it's probably the shop.
Yeah.
Having my own space to work has been absolutely amazing. It's the scariest thing I've ever done, because I've always just kind of been in my spare room, or I've been at other salons, but actually taking the leap to open up my own place, and we totally renovated it. Like when I found it, it was not in good condition. So I changed it and I was able to design it the way that I wanted and see that become a reality. And I remember before it opened, I had a wee wobble thinking, oh my God, am I going to be able to make this work? Like, it is a scary thing to do. So I guess that's the biggest investment, but also probably like actually doing a brow course. Like, I've spent a lot of money on training for me and for staff, and I just think it always pays off, because if you're passionate about what you do, then it's always going to be a good thing.
Yeah, I think that's good. And I think in the beauty industry, I think a lot of people, maybe not so much nowadays, but I think a lot of people maybe done a course and they just stuck to that course. And I think it's really good to kind of go and refresh your course and go in the new thing that's out. I think that's always good.
Absolutely. I remember going to do, I don't know if you've heard about fee brows.
No, do you know, I was on your website and I seen, that was the kind of first time I've seen fee brows, to be honest.
So there's a few people I think doing it in Scotland now, but I did my training, when was it, 2018?
Right.
March 2018 I went to do the training, and I had been looking into it for about a year before.
Right.
And trying to pick the best place, because there's only so much you can do with like waxing and tinting. And realistically, if someone's brows aren't going to grow back, there's not much else you can do. And I hated that feeling of, oh, this is the best I can do for you and see you later. I just hated that. I always wanted to be able to give more. So I wanted to be able to create a brow that was really, really natural. So I thought fee brows would be an amazing way to do that. But it's been the hardest training that I've ever done. Most challenging training. I would probably say it was harder and more stressful than my degree.
Really? So what is fee brows then? What is the
So fee brows is microblading. It's just basically fee brows, that is the brand. So they've kind of formulated their own way of doing it, with their own products and stuff like that. But you know, I've listened to a few of your podcasts before and listened to people talk about beauty courses that you just go on for like a day or two and you just don't feel confident after it. Well, fee brows, you do go on a 2-day course, but after that it's months and months and months of like perfecting it before you can actually work on clients, and I feel like that's amazing.
Those sort of courses, that's where you need to go, and that's why it's worthwhile putting in money, like more money into investing in these sort of courses, isn't it?
Of course, and it's not cheap, but I think if you want to provide like really top quality treatments, you've got to invest in it. You've got to kind of keep up with trends, and I also think that you need to love it, so it needs to be a treatment that you would go and pay money for yourself.
Yeah.
That's why I kind of stay away from treatments. There are brow treatments that I'm not that keen on, and I don't offer them because I personally wouldn't get it myself, so I don't feel I'd be that passionate about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I think that does come into it as well, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So then in the last 5 years then, what's a new habit or belief that has improved your life?
The last 5 years, I think probably not giving up.
Yeah.
So when I was younger, when I was at school, I wasn't really interested in doing the best that I could. I got a wee bit bored of school. When I left school, I dropped out of college. I did a job that I hated. I wanted to quit all the time. But actually, when I put my mind to it and really focused on what I wanted to do, I never ever gave up after that. So
Yeah.
I went through like a period of time where I was just trying stuff and then giving up and switching to something else. But actually, when I sat down and really thought about what I wanted, I never gave up after that. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel like staying motivated, staying on track, that's really important.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a good one. That's nice.
Thank you.
So where can people find you then on social media?
So you can find us on Instagram. Our username is niche_brow bar. We post a lot of stuff about our brow treatments. We post a lot of videos. Obviously, that's on hold at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
but the videos do so well. People love to see that transformation, and it's really satisfying to watch. So I think that's probably what I enjoy doing on social media the most.
Mm-hmm.
During lockdown, we've just been trying to create content at home, work on content that we've maybe not had time to post yet. As you can imagine, my camera roll is just thousands and thousands of brow pictures.
Yeah.
So it's been a good time to just I've kind of like spent a lot of time on social media through lockdown and figuring out where I want to take our branding and strategy to next. So yeah.
Yeah. Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, thanks so much for coming on again then, Heather. That was so good.
Thank you for asking me. It was lovely.